Wow.
Here we go. Here we go. We're live. We are live.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good evening, Byron. It's been a long time.
What's going on, Jim?
How you doing? Have you worked on your dance moves since we've been gone?
Oh yeah, it's training camp, baby. I'm ready. I got all kind of dances. We're gonna do every kind of dance because the receivers gonna be in the end zone this year.
Goodness.
Hey, the receivers gonna be dancing from left to right, doing the toe tapping and all kind of jack.
Well, the way they're getting paid, they should.
Yeah,
I mean, they're getting paid like defensive linemen now, big money.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, man, I tell you, he leading the pack.
Tyreek Hill.
Hell yeah, Kyrie Hill is he's making news. He's excited. He's happy.
Yeah,
Hill's number 10. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. And AJ Brown, man, he looked really good.
He does. He does. I have to give him. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
But let's start off with your guy, Kyler Murray.
Nice contract he signed last week.
Yeah, $230.5 million.
Yeah, nice contract.
But that's not what we're going to talk about.
What you going to talk about?
Talk about is he has a clause in this contract that he has to spend 4 hours studying film.
Yeah, it's a film study clause, addendum contract.
Yeah,
that they put in there to make sure that he do his homework.
What kind of junk is that?
Man,
this game is what you do for a living.
This game is changing, man.
They paid you $230.5 million. And you have to have somebody that you have to make something an addendum in your contract to make sure you're studying.
Well, this is what I think teams do. They evaluate what happened that went wrong last year, the previous year. So evidently, when they went from winning to start losing at the end of the season, even though they made the playoff, it was something that went wrong. So evidently, some of the players went up on their homework and wasn't studying film.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing that bothers me. They're going to have the same issues because number 99 did not retire. He's still in L.A. And Kyler is afraid of number 99.
He gonna do it. He will play him twice, right?
Yep. And maybe 3 times.
Maybe 3 times.
Possibility of 3 times.
Yeah. And I think the Rams going to be in a good position to go back to the playoffs. I really do. Yeah. And win the Super Bowl. They might be back-to-back Super Bowl winners.
Yeah. But history also says that type of offense is great at the beginning when everybody is not in great football shape.
Yeah.
But as the season progresses, defenses do catch up with them.
Right, exactly. It's some reason, they started 11-0 last year, and man, everybody was talking about the Arizona Cardinals. I was one of the guys who had predicted them to go a long way into the playoff and do some great things, and they just seemed like the air was let out of them at the end of the season.
Yeah, and Hopkins will be out for 6 games.
Yeah, he got a 6-game suspension.
The same, so
unless they come back and make an adjustment to that.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see how they progress this. Did the league catch up to them? They did get their center back, Hudson.
Yeah,
he came to camp and everything, and it seems everything is great until they start struggling. And we'll see. They
made a couple of offseason moves, but we'll see if it's better. But they did lose Chandler, one of the best defensive pass rushers.
Yeah, but they did get Hollywood Brown on offense.
Yeah.
So that should help them on offense. They'll be explosive again, but you're right. Without Chandler Jones, there's question. But how much does J.J. Watts have left in his tank? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Because he's been beat up the last couple of years. So
yeah, exactly.
But that'll be something to follow.
And they had talked about him earlier in this offseason about him maybe thinking about retiring too. They had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, interesting thing, real quick and a little bit off the subject, there was this Texan fan in Houston, which J.J. Watts played for before he went to Arizona, and they would have had to sell all their Texas memorabilia. The lady had to sell it to bury her husband, and J.J. Watts got in touch with her and told her, don't do that. He said, I'll pay for the funeral, and you keep your Texans memorabilia. So I thought that was pretty classy.
Yeah, real classy, man. Plus, J.J. Watts had done a tremendous amount of work and charity work. And even when they had a hurricane come through the Houston area, J.J. Watts stepped up and raised millions of dollars for families. And his heart is so big, you know. I'm just glad he was able to do what he did. Yeah.
And there's other players and former players that are doing things. Bo Jackson paid for the funerals for the victims of the Uvalde shooting.
Yeah,
Bo Jackson did that.
Yeah, Peg was telling me about that last week when I was on the Jack and Mac and Jack show, and we talked about Bo Jackson. And you know, Bo Jackson's so quiet and humble. He does a lot of great things.
Yeah. But Bo knows.
Bo knows. Nobody knows like Bo knows.
Yes, that's true. But as moving on, interesting thing that Aaron Rodgers said about Allen Lazard. And he said it's always tough going from a Hall of Famer to a Hall of Famer. Obviously, he was talking about Devontae Adams going to Oakland.
Right.
And now he's saying that Allen Lazard is going to be the next one. He's the next one in line. And that would be interesting to see.
I don't know. I don't know about he there yet, but he been playing well.
Yeah. So he has been playing well, and he's going to get more balls than Devontae Adams. Now, is he the physical athlete and has because Devontae Adams embarrassed Jalen Ramsey.
Absolutely.
He did. He embarrassed himself.
Devontae Adams, man, he's just a whole different class.
Yeah.
And plus, he got good field instincts, and
really?
like he can pinpoint some things, and plus, I mean, just running crisp routes and being a complete player is another thing that Devontae Adams is good at.
Now we're talking about a lot of receivers now.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you said, the receivers are becoming a marquee position.
Absolutely.
Because the next one is Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers reported to camp this week, but he's at a quest for a new contract. He's not even participating. This is what's interesting to me as a former player, as you are. Now guys can go to camp, and if they don't like their contract, they don't have to practice. I've never seen that. It's happening in Chicago with Roquan Smith.
Yep.
And
Debo Samuel right now. He's they working on his contract while he's sitting out.
Yeah, I don't understand it. What I know that Debo Sanders and probably Deontay Johnson are under contract, and they want new contracts in the same with Roquan Smith because Jesse Bates from Cincinnati is not showing up because he's not under contract and he didn't sign the franchise tag.
Right.
Now, I got to check and make sure Dalton Schultz, but I would assume that he's not there.
Well, I know he was going to play under the contract. They said that they were going to try to get him to play under the contract franchise tag as well.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's just going to be exciting to see what happened. But one of the things I was going to talk about, training camp. Training camp has started. Now, this is what I want to talk to you about. There is a list of guys that have to have a strong training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I think, is Trey Lance.
Oh, no question.
He got to have a strong training camp.
No question. I would agree with you 100%.
Number two, Micah Thomas, the wide receiver that played with him.
So?
Yeah, he said he wasn't even.
He was hurt.
He got to have a strong training camp.
But I know I know this young lady who's a huge Saints fan because she always tell me, who that, them Saints.
Who that?
Yeah, who that?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to hear that, John. So Michael Thomas, yeah, he's got to have it too, but he just got to stay healthy.
Yeah. Number 3, Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones got to have a strong training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 and number 5, this young guy here named Caleb Farley. He was a cornerback that was drafted by the Titans. He was the number 22 overall, but he had back surgery last year. Ended up, having to go through that. Now he was predicted to be one of the cover guys, best shutdown corners coming out of college, and so he's on that training camp list. Yeah. They need to have a strong training camp. And my 5th guy that's needed to have a good training camp is Devin Singletary, running back for the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
He need to show up and show out.
Yeah, because he's gonna have to play well. Because I thought that Allen ran too much.
Yeah.
You always give your chance the opportunity for injuries.
Right.
So there's no question with Josh Allen.
Right. And he definitely that's the one thing that I think would have put Buffalo the edge to beat Kansas City last year.
Yeah.
Is the running game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any more?
No, I just went 5.
I'm shocked that you didn't put Justin Fields.
Well, Justin Fields, I think with the turmoil that he had and the coaches changes and all the chemistry stuff, I think now he will be I think he'll be more stable and adjusted to go in and prove himself. Last year, he came in with all these different quarterbacks and the coaches' case scenarios messed up. And I think he definitely gonna play well. But his stats didn't look too good as a rookie.
Yeah. But I think he will be better. And back to Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't put Jimmy Garoppolo on PUP.
Right, they did.
They did not put him on PUP. And
but he did pass his physical, right?
He passed his physical.
Right.
And that takes his $7 million injury clause away.
Right.
And they're not going to let him practice.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Well, they want him to be, because they it's writing on the wall that if he can get someone want to sign him, then he's free to go.
Yeah, but the problem is the team that probably needs him the most is in their division, the Seattle Seahawks.
Absolutely.
And I would think it's very highly unlikely that they would pick the Seahawks to trade him to.
I would think the Seahawks or the Houston Texans would.
You keep saying that, but I just can't see the Texans. And I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But somebody gonna definitely sign him or get him, and he'll be on somebody's team before week 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah,
I think.
But it's just, who is it going to be? Or are they going to cut him? Now, he's had some injuries over the year, correct?
Yeah.
Over the years, so that might be some issues with it.
Well, he had that shoulder surgery too, I think.
Yeah. Now, Justin Jefferson said he will be the best receiver in the NFL of the Minnesota Vikings. I know my man Jason is watching.
He's in my top 5.
He's in your top 5?
Mm-hmm.
If Adam Thielen is healthy, I would agree with you, because he's going to they'll need another option, because they can take a receiver out.
Oh yeah,
that secondary receiver is the one, and
I'm pretty sure you're going to say Kirk Cousins might not be able to get in the ball.
Well, here's the thing too that they said the offensive coordinator said he realizes that Cousins has limitations.
Wow.
He said that he realizes it, and they have to work around his limitations.
Well, the new coach coming from the Rams to the Vikings, that's the statement that he said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he realizes, and I've told you that already.
That's interesting.
You see, you should listen to me sometime. Kirk Cousins has limitations.
I was thinking Kirk Cousins can get that ball, but he been getting the ball to Jefferson.
Yeah, but that's not his limitations. It's just that he doesn't make wise decisions all the time.
Okay.
Gotcha. The pressure is on him. He doesn't make wise decisions.
Okay.
And speaking about wise decisions, you saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's like the wide receiver show. I'm getting
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones goes to
Julio Jones, man. He gonna fit perfectly into the Tampa Bay scheme of plans.
You think so?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But it's
you know why? Because of the style of offense that the Tampa Bay Bucs runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they can continue, if they can continue to run that style of offense, which Tom Brady will be 45 in a couple of days.
Yes.
He just ready to tear. He just can't wait till the season starts.
Yeah.
And guess who they played the first game of the season?
Who?
Dallas Cowboys.
Tampa Bay, Dallas. And Dallas gonna be ready. You see, Dallas gonna be on fire.
Well, last night, we talked about the Cowboys. I didn't know we were talking about the Cowboys, but Jerry Jones talked the whole day training camp. He talked the whole night last night on training. Yeah. But no, I think Tampa Bay, man, is gonna surprise somebody.
You think so?
Yeah. I know they lost some defensive linemen and defensive.
They lost Dominic Sue.
Yeah.
And they haven't signed Jason Pierre-Paul either.
Yeah.
So I know their defensive line coach. We work together, KT Rogers.
Right.
They got some work to do.
Well, Pierre probably gonna sign 2 or 3 days before the season starts.
Yeah. There's a possibility of that.
Yeah.
But Tampa's got some talent, and we know as long as Tom Brady's there, they're all.
Well, Julio Jones, he's only 33, so
33 is that's dog years, so that means he's almost 50.
Well, if he's in good shape, I think he missed. I think he only played in 10 games last year, so he should be ready to go.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
Hey, here's something that I know that you, when you were with the Giants, Belichick was the
defense coordinator,
and Belichick thinks that Mac Jones has improved dramatically. Bill Belichick. But here's the interesting thing: he hasn't named anybody offensive coordinator. He made the former coach for the Detroit Lions as the offensive line coach. He's always been a defensive guy.
Okay.
And he hasn't really. It's a weird staff. It's a weird.
Well, I don't think. Sometimes I think flipping coaching from offense to defense to offense is not bad at all.
Why do you say that?
Because I coached a little bit defensive backs, and I was a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that it's an easy adjustment, and you can flip the script. And then the one thing about your skill position anyway, they're interchangeable. I mean, it's just most guys played both ways or played opposite of each other, growing up. So there's nothing new to the game. I just think that the concept is the chemistry, staying healthy, and things like that. I think that's the most critical part of what these guys got to be faced with.
Yeah. Here's something. Yeah, I agree with you.
But it is weird that Belichick hadn't named his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, meaning that he like to keep it interesting. I think Belichick still got some of that Bill Parcells in him, to where he had to say certain things to the media just to make them react to his comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I just think he know who the offensive coordinator. Because look, let me tell you something. When you go into film study and you have to go in there and put the plan of action, game plan together, everybody know who's got to run this, who's running the show.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and he does have some, because Parcells would meet with the whole staff.
Yeah,
and he critique every position on offense, and he critique every position on defense.
Absolutely, he did. He was hands-on, and Belichick's still hands-on. I mean,
there ain't no question about it.
Yeah,
there's no question about it.
Yeah, so
yeah, but
I think being around Belichick, I kind of know him, and I kind of kind of sense what he's doing.
Mhm.
And one of the things he want to generate some interest for the Patriots because right now, you got the Bills and you got the Dolphins and people are talking about, what their teams look like.
Yeah.
And I just think he just says doing some things to make it interesting for the Patriots.
Yeah, he is. And that's going to be a tough division because every team in that division has gotten better.
Yeah.
Every team has gotten better.
But one team that hadn't been to the playoff in 11 seasons.
The Jets.
The Jets.
The New York Jets.
I got a list of the teams who hadn't been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I bet you want to know who the second team is.
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville is 5. Jacksonville is 5 Yeah. They 4 season. The Jets 11 season.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos is 6.
Really?
Yeah. Detroit is 5.
Yeah.
The Dolphins is 5.
Uh-huh.
The Giants is 5. Atlanta Falcons is 4. Carolina Panthers is 4. Jacksonville Jaguars is 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the last team is the Chargers. They 3.
Yeah, and they should have been there last year.
They should have been there last year because they were 9-8.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, I got a quick question from Jason. And he said, what do we think is the most competitive division this year?
Oh, it's going to be the AFC West.
You think so?
I do because the Kansas City, the Chargers, the Broncos.
Yes.
The Raiders.
Yes.
So I think that division gonna be really tough.
I'm kind of shocked you said that because the NFC West is pretty strong too. You got the Rams, you got the Cardinals, you got Seattle, and you got San Francisco.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be, and I'll tell you what, people better not sleep on the NFC East this year. But I would think the NFC North with Minnesota and
Green Bay
will be a lot harder than people give them credit for. I think they're going to.
Yeah, I think Minnesota and Green Bay gonna be. They're gonna be.
And I don't think
come out the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I don't think Detroit will make the playoffs, but they'll be competitive. They'll be better than they were last year. And then the same with Chicago.
Yeah,
because I think Justin Fields has a better system to utilize his talents, and he is talented. So I think that'll be, but I could agree with you. I could see why you would say the AFC West, because you're right. Kansas City has got some players.
Yep.
And they have Mahomes. Anytime you got Mahomes, you got a chance.
Got a chance.
And then you look at Denver. Now they say, and this might be not true, they say Russell Wilson is high maintenance as a player. He's got.
What you mean by that? High maintenance? What kind of? Russell Wilson have been to the playoffs 9 seasons.
I know, but what I'm saying,
9 Pro Bowls.
What I'm trying to say is that he has to have these certain things. He doesn't just go and play. He needs things around him. You know, he needs an entourage. And I was reading an article on it.
Okay, maybe that's part of his psyche. Maybe that's part of his game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what get him excited by coming in and being throwing those dimes and throwing those exciting moments.
And then you got David Carr, you got Devontae Adams, you got Waller. I mean, that's a talented group right there.
Now this week I looked at this. They got tight end university.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, and I saw Waller was there and Travis Kelce, those guys were there. And they said they learned a lot. They learned a lot. So I'm thinking Waller would be even a fine-tuned tight end this year.
Yeah. Now I wonder if Dalton Schultz was there.
He should have been.
Yeah.
They didn't show him.
But, yeah, and then one thing about the Raiders is health, because that's what got them with hurting Rollins, and they got a couple of players that were injured.
Well, his style of play, he trying to get every yard. He's tough. He will try to run over you. He intimidate the DBs. So they gonna try to hurt you too. So
exactly. But anytime you got Devontae Adams on your team, you got a chance.
He got a chance now. He got a superstar with him.
And he played with Carr in college.
Yeah,
they played at Fresno State together, so they kind of got a feel for each other.
Yeah, and plus they work out in the previous year. They've been working out together in the offseason.
Yeah, for a long time. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and I think I'd rather play in Las Vegas than Green Bay. I know Green Bay's, title town and everything, but Vegas is Vegas. So that's the thing.
Well, I just hope
he is a West Coast guy.
Yeah, he's from out that way.
He is a West Coast. Yeah, he's from I think he's from LA.
Yeah.
I think he's from LA. So
yeah.
And he gets closer to home. He's a 5-hour drive?
Not far at all.
Yeah. But I think you're right. That's going to be a competitive division. But people are saying that, but I'm telling you, the NFC East, because if it's always on health, but the Philly is stacked up. I mean, they loaded up. They're going for it.
I like what Philly's doing, and I think Philly gonna be the team to beat in the NFC.
I'm telling you, the shocking team is gonna be the Giants. And I'm being honest with you. If Saquon's healthy, Daniel Jones is gonna be better this year.
Oh yeah.
When they keep those receivers, that's where their biggest issue is.
Well, Joe and Brian Daboll, they interviewed and kicked off the training camp, and I like what they said. Mm-hmm. They're taking one day at a time. We're gonna stay focused on what's here and what's now. Mm-hmm. We're here to do what we can control, and one of the things else they said that I like is that in each film room, each group, we got to establish leadership.
Oh, no question.
And I think that's what's been missing with the Giants is leadership and pinpoint guidance of what they need to do next. The most important thing, and they're there to win. And so when you have that in your room and the film room and everybody on that same page, then you ain't gonna have no whole lot of people not coming to work excited about doing the right thing.
But here's the thing, and I've always believed this, is leadership is created by winning. The more you win, the more leaders you have. Because you wouldn't make it to the NFL if you weren't an alpha dog.
Absolutely.
Some of those dogs are bigger alpha dogs, and they can take control of making plays. When Aaron Rodgers, love him or hate him, when he walks in the room, you know who the man is. You know he's the player. When Patrick Mahomes walks in there, you know he's the guy. He's that dude. And guys like that, when they walk in
you saying Daniel Jones need to walk in the room? And
I'm serious, he has to. And they got to trust him. They got to trust him. And then, we talk about Daniel Jones. People are sleeping on the Washington Commanders because there was only Carson Wentz did put him in position. He did not play in the Super Bowl, but he put him in the position to win a Super Bowl. He did not.
What really kind of got me down on Carson Wentz is that he had an opportunity last year with the Colts.
That is true.
And then fulfill his obligation.
Yeah, but then you could say the same thing with Kyler Murray. He was 11-0, and he didn't fulfill it.
But Kyler Murray he's a couple of years younger, but maybe going into this year, expectation is a whole different thing. Since that he ain't got no more excuses. Okay, so with Carson Wentz, I just knew he was going to be a perfect fit for the Colts. They got a great running back. They got a great offensive line, great defense. They've been very dominant in that division.
He's gonna get his shot now.
Huh?
He's gonna get his shot now. Carson.
Well, he ain't gonna have the quite personnel that he had with the Colts that he's gonna have with the Washington Commanders.
Yes, true. That's true.
That offensive line for the Colts. That offensive line for the Colts was pretty. They was on.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have the offensive line.
Yeah.
With the Colts, but Here's a question I got to ask you.
Okay.
And we really don't talk about this, but Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. He does the negotiating. His mother basically helps him with the negotiation. Would you give him a contract equal to Kyler Murray?
Yes, I would.
Why would you do that?
Because he's been the MVP.
Interesting.
And you know what? It's been proven that Baltimore ain't gonna move without him.
That is true. And they don't like the offensive coordinator. Because if you notice, Hollywood Brown said it wasn't that he loved him. He loved Lamar Jackson, but he did not like the offensive coordinator.
Well, if you start to think about, if you look at their style of offense and some of the plays and the routes that the receivers run, there's no combination of freeing up other players. And then if you keep doing some predictable things, now they got a great tight end, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things you have to do is have combination routes as well as being able to utilize the talent and the skill set of the players. I think, when you just forcing balls into the tight end, you're forcing it to Hollywood Brown, then you're gonna be too predictable. So I just think you have to have options. And one of the things I even said this about the Dallas Cowboys, if they would have moved, if they moved,
you did say that.
You have to move players around, create mismatches.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
But we'll get to them a little later.
Yeah, we'll get to them. But what I'm saying though, I just think their style of offense, and they did depend on Lamar Jackson a lot.
Yeah.
But I do agree that sometimes you might have to have, when you get ready to, I know you want to make as much money as you can, you want to save money, but everything's negotiable when you get people to represent you in your contract.
Mm-hmm. You're right. So I think that what scares me about paying him that much money is his style of play, because just like Josh Allen, and I think they better do something with Josh Allen, when those guys are running there and guys like me that are coming and they want to take you out.
They're going to take you out.
Yeah. And you're taking punishment that you really don't need to take. And we see it. We talk about running backs that have short-term careers, but running quarterbacks have short careers.
And one of the things been throughout the history of football, for example, Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Joe Jones played for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. He hurt Bradshaw. I mean, and it's just like, you when you go in and you rush these quarterbacks, you try to put them out. I mean, you try to get a better game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's what these defensive players are getting paid to do. That's
the thing. And then you put yourself in a position to get hit. So it's going to be obviously a little bit dangerous for him. And I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson is not a great player.
Yeah.
I'm just that, say you give him $230 million over 10 years, the likelihood that he's going to be there 10 years is not good.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned Joe Jones.
Yeah,
because he still talk about that hit with Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah,
I mean that's the dream of every great defensive lineman that rushes quarterback is who put the lights out.
Yeah, and you're right. But you look at it, and you, like you said with Terry Bradshaw, the only quarterback that could run and was Randall Cunningham, but he also was really good throwing the ball.
Yeah,
he took some punishment and he got up and he kept ticking.
Yeah,
he was a unique personality or a unique player.
And that's the thing about a running quarterback. You know which side your offensive line is weakest, and so you run to the opposite side.
Exactly. And then Michael Vick was another one, and he broke his leg.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, because he was a tremendous athlete.
But look at all the quarterbacks that each and every year going to get hurt. Like Troy Aikman went in and got concussion with the turtle.
That's true.
And then Dak Prescott hurt his ankle the year before last. So,
even Phil Simms.
Phil Simms. When I first got there, he had a broken thumb on his throwing hand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
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 It's a big Hostetler.
Yeah, Jeff Hostetler and some of those other guys had to come in and play. But yeah, absolutely. That position, quarterback position, is a position where you're gonna get some nicks and bruises and you're gonna get lit up.
Yeah. Got a question.
Now I do have to say this: Tom Brady is about the only quarterback that I have seen have been very sustainable.
Yes, I agree with Aaron Rodgers to a certain extent because he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. Brady is unique. He's one of those guys that you don't expect, but he trains really hard. He's a LeBron of football.
Yeah, he
trains at
he's a student of the game, man, all the way through.
I bet you he spends over $1 million training.
Yeah, no doubt. He had the best of the best.
Yeah. Got a quick question from Jason again.
What's up, Jason?
He asked me, who was the toughest quarterback to sack? And I would say Dan Marino for me.
And Marino was probably
the reason, and you know why, him and Dan Fouts had the quickest release.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were showing that other day. The releases was phenomenal.
I mean, and that's why it was tough for him. But I did get him at the end of his career or toward the end. I got him a couple of times. And I made him pay for all those times I missed him.
Yeah.
And then Elway was athletic.
I kind of like Brett Favre.
See, I never had a problem getting to Brett Favre.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I sacked him one time for 25 yards.
Did you?
Yeah, he was trying to escape, and I was laughing while I was chasing him. I'm like, you really think you're going to outrun me, do you, Brett?
What about Peyton Manning?
I didn't play against Peyton.
Okay, you didn't get Peyton.
But he would be in that Marino, Dan Fouts category. What do
you think about Jim Kelly?
I love Jim, but Jim wasn't that hard.
Okay.
And he did get rid of the ball pretty quick, but he was a big guy and he was more stationary. We knocked him out, just like we were talking. We knocked him out of the game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they put in Frank Wright.
Frank Wright. I remember that. I remember that Frank Wright was playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Jim was a great football player, but he couldn't get out of that. He couldn't escape like some of these guys.
Yeah. What about Warren Moon? Did you ever get a chance to sack him?
Yeah, we sacked him one day 13 times.
What?
Yeah, we sacked him 13 times when he was obviously in Houston.
Yeah.
And he wasn't as elusive as you would think.
Yeah.
And he was a lot because he was running that run and shoot offense. And he'd get rid of it, but he was holding it because at that time it was pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
And our DBs were up on him and they were banging him. And we had an opportunity. Yeah, we sacked him 13 times in the old Astrodome.
Yeah. I got my ribs broken in that old stadium.
Oh, man, that was something. We talk about stadiums because that was something. Let's move on so we can get to Cowboys and Giants news. So,
Cowboys. What are you talking about? Are you ready to go to the Cowboys?
Yeah.
The only thing you need to talk about is Jerry Jones. Because they want to know about what he think about bringing in a coach. I don't know why these reporters bring this up when Mike McCarthy's sitting right beside Jerry Jones.
They don't care.
That's crazy, man. That's so embarrassing.
And Jerry basically said that he wouldn't have him there if he didn't think he could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he did also mention that they got to get farther in the playoffs.
Yeah, he everybody know it's shut up, put up a shut up.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everybody thinks Peyton will go there. Jerry's not going to pay Sean Payton because he's going to want too much power.
Yeah.
We dealt with that with Bill Parcells. Jerry's not going to do that again. I've been around Jerry for a long time, and he does not want that kind of coaching.
Yeah.
McCartney, though, has to get more of that team more disciplined.
So about 2 months ago, I was at an event with Mike McCarthy, and real nice. Me and him had a great conversation. We talked about the upcoming draft. We talked about some things. I really appreciate him because he's a professional, soft-spoken, well-liked. And I think in the locker room, I think what's important to me is the players got to like you and appreciate you And when that happens, I think players going to give you their best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what Mike McCarthy brings to the table. And I think, too, I think he's a winner. So I like what they have.
Yeah, he does. And now he's got a little bit of issues because Michael Gallup went on PUP, which he anticipated. And then they had a receiver called Dontario Drummond and a cornerback called Quandre Mosley. And they had a linebacker, Aaron Hansford, plus their 5th-round draft pick, Damian Clark. They all went on there Damian went on there because he had a spinal fusion.
Okay.
So, and he was the kid I want to say he came from one of the Mississippi schools.
Okay. Yeah, Mississippi State probably. What about Dalton Schultz? You got any updates?
They think he's going to be a Cowboy for a long time.
You
Maybe
think
they're
so?
negotiating. Yeah, they were saying Jerry said he thinks he's going to be a Cowboy for a while.
That'd be good. Yeah.
But and people had him rated as a top 10 tight end.
So let me ask you a question, Jim.
Yeah.
What would be the Dallas Cowboy 2022 football record?
The 2022?
Yeah.
So 17 games, right?
They finished 12-5 last year.
I think that's what they'll end up this year, 12-5. I think they're going to start off a little tougher. I anticipate them beating Tampa and feeling good about themselves, but that's not the only team that they have.
Well, they had Tampa beat last year to the very end of the game.
Exactly. But they also got Cincinnati the next week.
Yeah.
And even, Joe Burrow just had an adeptomy. And
yeah, that's right. That's right.
But it ain't going to stop Joe because you got Jamar Chase. And
well, I'm predicting the Cowboys to be 10-7.
10-7. I'm going 12-5.
Okay.
I'm going 12-5 because I just think they do still have enough talent. I think that you got to look at it, and this is the reason I'm saying it. Michael Gallup will be back. He might not play in the first 2 games. They got some this Tolbert. They've been working with him nonstop. He even went with Zach down Prescott down to Miami. He took all the receivers down there and worked with them.
That don't mean nothing.
Yeah, and then you got CeeDee Lamb, and I think the pressure is not on the players this year; it's on the offensive coordinator.
But you got to use your talent. And CeeDee Lamb, I'm predicting him to be in the top 8 receivers.
Yeah, and if he's not, and he's not productive, then that's more on. I can't remember the name of the offensive coordinator. Kevin.
Kevin.
I don't think it's Kevin.
Kevin.
But
the number 4, the quarterback used to be quarterback.
Moore,
yeah,
from Boise State.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Kellen
Moore.
Kevin Moore. Yeah, Kevin Moore.
Kellen Moore. But here's the interesting thing. They asked Amari Cooper, could CeeDee Lamb be a number 1 receiver?
What did he say?
He said, no doubt that CeeDee Lamb could be one of the best receivers in the league. But he said that Kellen Moore, and this was a knock against Kellen Moore, is going to have to put him in positions to be successful.
And that's the same thing I said last year. He didn't know how to utilize the skill set.
And that's what Troy Aikman, he had already said that. Troy Aikman said, you got a DB that's 10 yards off, and they're trying to run fly routes instead of coming back and just dink and dunk them.
Yeah.
Things like that. Troy Aikman criticized Kellen Moore too.
Yeah.
And, I know that Kellen Moore has been getting opportunities to be a head coach, but he's going to have to show up this year or the ship's going down. He's going to have to.
You know what? One of the things about interview to being a head coach is if you have a winning season like the Cowboys did and some of these other teams, they have a list of players and offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator that they want to interview. They bring in the interview, and he was on that list early on. That's what all that was about.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't getting
Keith Ingram.
Wasn't nobody about to sign him as a head coach.
Nah, not there.
No.
Nah. There's no question about it. But that's the thing. and Moore has to do a better job. They're going to have to do things better discipline-wise because, and we all know the NFC East is not going to be the NFC East last year. If they run the table in the East, that's pretty good. I think they're going to have a winning record in the East.
They ain't gonna run the table.
I think they're gonna run the table.
They're not gonna run the table. You just talked about the Washington Commandos. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and
he's talking about underwear.
Yeah, and the New York Giants. I'm talking about the NFC is gonna be shocking this year.
Yeah, there'll be some good players.
Yeah.
Now they do play the NFC AFC South,
Right?
Tennessee, Houston, Indianapolis, and Dallas. I think they play them in the first 3 weeks, and they play obviously the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans, they suck. I think you can get a team up. We're going to beat the Texans.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I just don't know what the Texans think about when they don't do certain things. I mean, I didn't see them do anything in the offseason.
You're right. You're right.
David Mills, the quarterback. I don't know who the receiver is going to be. It just
but
there's no excitement in here right now. Huh?
But the Cowboys have got a big task in front because every team in the NFC East, especially the Giants, have gotten more talent. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Well, I want to say this about the Cowboys. The running back position is going to be – they looking good. I've been watching them.
I have too.
Pollard and Zeke Elliott looking good.
Yeah.
They also
Zeke is help.
Yeah.
Did you know he had since he's been in the league, he's had the most yardage of any running back in the league? That's pretty impressive. He just got to stay healthy. But let's get on that Giant news. We only got a –
guess what? I got a Zeke jersey.
You got a Zeke jersey? I can see that.
The Giants news mainly is Daniel Jones. You know,
Saquon Barkley's got to show up. He didn't show up.
Yeah, Saquon. Well, he gonna be okay. I think he's doing good. He's the injury. He's bouncing back. He's stronger. He's running good. I seen some little highlight on him on the day's little clip. He looked good.
Mm-hmm. And then I told you Sterling Shepard's on PUP.
Yeah.
So, and that's
the
way to help Daniel Jones is to get him some receivers that could play and stay on the field.
Yeah, that's been a problem. Exactly.
Yeah,
for his healthy receivers.
They got receivers. They're chasing them to play baseball.
Another thing too that we hadn't had consistent tight end play either. That's been a problem. True. Yeah.
Now, didn't they? I think they tried out Eric Ebram, if I'm correct. I think they might have tried him out. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think they tried him out, but I think there's a lot of excitement in there because of the coaching staff.
Well, one of the things we have Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And we have another quarterback named Davis Webb.
Yeah, I know Davis. He what did we? Davis played for us, and you know what happened with Davis? He's a Texas Tech kid.
Okay. Yeah.
What he did was he committed to Colorado, University of Colorado.
Okay.
Committed. Everybody was all excited and stuff. Then that was when he was transferring because he was transferring from Texas Tech. He ended up going to Cal and playing at Cal. Kind of screwed us in that one.
Now, this is what's going to be interesting. This is what's going to make the difference right here. The little thing. We going to have the original Giant uniform back this year.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah.
So I think that might give a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more, going out and getting a little twist, playing hard football. Lawrence Taylor and Strayhorn stopping in the locker room, having that little locker talk. I think it's going to be good.
Speaking of Lawrence Taylor, there was a controversy. There were some reporter put on there that Aaron Donald is the GOAT, greatest of all time.
For his defense?
Yeah, as far as defense. Lawrence Taylor said, it's not. That's not the truth. That's not. He is not the greatest of all time. What is your opinion? You've seen both of them play.
Man, I to this day I hadn't seen nobody play like Lawrence Taylor. I'll be honest with you.
You had a 265-pound outside linebacker, and they didn't know how to block him. They tried backs, then they turned to protection and got tackles on him, and they still couldn't. I mean, this was a unique player, and that's the thing. Lawrence Taylor revolutionized the game. He changed the game.
He changed the game. I mean, he's the greatest guy I ever played with my whole life. I seen him firsthand. I sit there on the sideline just being awe, seeing the things that he done, and the game changed. I mean, you could if you had to. I've seen him having to block put three people on Lawrence Taylor.
Dramatically, yeah. They had to change it. And the same thing, the great players, the Reggie Whites, the Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
They changed the game.
I'm gonna say that. Yeah, Reggie White, Bruce Smith, of course. I mean, those guys was great. All those players were great.
So it would be hard to me to say that Aaron Donald is, and Randy White was an interior guy, and he was similar to Aaron Donald. He was difficult to block. It was kind of ironic because Randy White is originally a Pittsburgh guy too.
Randy White,
but he's similar to Randy White.
Now, one of the things I saw today was Michael Parsons. Only 5 guys have made it to the Pro Bowl their first year at linebacker. And he was one of them.
Yeah. And he's the same size as Taylor.
It was Lawrence Taylor.
But I don't think he's Lawrence Taylor.
Leonard with Leonard, Patrick, they used to play with us, and there's a couple other players that their first year.
I didn't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But back to the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be a tough out. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they are going to be it. And then they talk about offensive lineman size have grown, and I agree with that. They have grown in the outside lines of the past by 40 pounds, but just proving. I mean, you look at Von Miller. Von Miller's not a big guy. Michael Parsons is a big guy, but he's not huge.
Yeah.
You can rush the quarterback. You can rush. I don't care how big the offensive linemen get.
Yeah.
I don't care how big they get because a prime example is Philadelphia's got one of the biggest lines in the NFL. But they're going to have to play well because they're going to if you can get in positions, that's good against the run. But in the passing, you like those big linemen.
Another thing about big linemen coming to the third and fourth quarter, are they going to still be sustainable?
Exactly, because you're playing more plays than you have in the past.
Yep.
And sometimes that's a deterrent.
Yep.
And that's
why certain teams win in the first part of the season and some at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. And they asked, would LT fare well against these bigger players? Yes.
No doubt. He was so quick, and man, they couldn't. And he just had so much athletic skill sets.
Yeah.
These guys, he'll run around these guys before he get up out of his
Exactly. He can run them over.
Yeah.
And some people always ask that question. The great ones could play in most eras. I mean, you look back, LT could have played in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. I mean,
and now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys can play. Bruce Smith, there's no question he could have played. Reggie White. I mean, they were just special players.
Yeah.
They could do it in any era. They would that's why they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They were that kind of player. So LT could play and still be effective because you just don't see guys like that. You just don't see them. Yeah. So that's the thing. And I still think he's one of the greatest of all time. And it's hard to, just like anything other sport, it's hard to say one player is that much, but he was head over heels better than everybody.
Yeah. I'm just glad I played with him 3 years and
instead of
got a chance to see him up close. Got a chance to see him
when he broke Danny Wright's wrist.
Man, I saw when he broke Joe Theismann's leg.
So the question was, would Daniel dude, yeah, Donald would do great. He's another one.
Yeah.
In any era because he plays so hard.
And plus, he's more of an inside lineman.
Yeah, he's more of an interior guy, but he would have played. But you're talking about guys that like LT and Bruce and them guys. I mean, they were just something Donald's at, but interior guys are not going to get the pressures.
Yep.
Those guys on the edge guys got. I mean,
Yeah.
Von Miller's, and I'm not saying Von Miller's in that category, but you look at some of the great guys that, especially as pass rushers, they were normally edge guys.
Preseason pick. Who's in the Super Bowl?
It's not Minnesota, Jason.
Man.
Can I get a couple weeks to think about it?
Everybody picking the Buffalo Bills, you know.
I'm not picking Buffalo. And
I'm not either. I'm not picking Buffalo either. I'm still waiting. Let me look at the preseason.
Jason, we'll tell you get through the preseason. We got to see how these teams are going. Now, probably the popular picks now are just like you said, probably somebody like the Rams, and on the other side, I would still say somebody from the AFC West. A lot of people don't say that, but I think that either the Raiders got a good chance.
I was just thinking.
I think Kansas City's got to come together. But the Chargers, that might be the first time all four teams make it to the.
Well, one of the things I'm about to look at, I'm going to do a survey of the coaches, because you have to put that coach in there and that quarterback in there, and then those key players in there. And I think that's the formula, huh? That's the formula.
Well, yeah, that was a good question, Jason, but it's a little too early right now. Yeah. I could tell you that Minnesota, I know you want to hear this, is a possibility to unseat Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah, they might make the playoffs.
In the FC North.
Yeah.
But, because without Devontae Adams, and Lazard's got a big challenge.
I think the pressure is really on the Dallas Cowboys.
I do too.
I really do, because they hadn't done that in a long time, and patience is running thin here in Dallas.
Yeah, I've done it since I was young.
Yeah, they about to run me off the freeway. They beating up their wives and drinking all kind of beer and stuff.
Oh my goodness, whatever.
I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys, if they don't do this, I don't know if I can live in the Metroplex.
Oh my goodness.
The pressure's on the Cowboys.
Here's the thing. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. You love them and hate them, but you always pay attention to them.
But I think Philadelphia's gonna blow their mind.
Oh shoot! Oh, here we go.
And the Giants,
I'm more afraid of Washington.
And the Giants gonna beat them 1 out of 2 games this year.
Hey, you shouldn't drink before the show.
H2O.
It's gonna be good.
H2O.
But the team I'm worried about is Washington, because they got the best head coach in the NFC East.
No doubt. He's a great coach. He was a great player. He's a player coach, and we'll see if he can get Carson Wentz on the same page with him.
Yeah, and I think Philly's going to be good. I like Hurts.
Yeah,
and I think that they got Devontae Smith. Everybody's talking about A.J. Brown, but the scary guy is Devontae Smith.
Oh, it's gonna be some combination going.
And they're huge up front. You talk about size.
A.J. Brown had more 50-plus yards touchdown than anybody last year. He had 10, and anything over 40 yards, he was the number one receiver in that category as well. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Well, we're on our last minute. Is there anything you want to say? Hey, I did an unscientific poll this week since I knew we were going to be on, and 2,500 people said that I am the show of this show. And they said, one person said you are, because I did it on my Facebook. And it was your wife, but she did vote for you. So congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey,
right, thank you for being
but you know what? I'm just excited football season to start because I don't care what the people say. I'm going to tell you that I know more about football than most people.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yes, you know a lot about it. Hey, everybody have a good evening. We'll see you next week. We will see you next week.